And we are live. Guys, welcome back to the Boxers podcast. I'm here with Angel. First, we've had him here. The last time we had him here was like weeks ago. And we are going to be doing a catch up on like a bunch of new boxing news and stuff like that. So, Angel, tell me, how have you been?
Yeah.
And you can start off if you want to talk about Gervonta Davis, if you want to talk about KSI, whatever you want to talk about, you can start off.
I just want to shout out my friend real quick, Diego for winning his last fight. It's going crazy, 19-0. I mean,
Yeah.
19-0. I think he's either 19. Yeah, he's 19-0. Oh wait, no, 12-0. My bad. Sorry, I don't know much about his record because that man had too many fights in Mexico under the radar. And yeah, I hope he does big moves. I hope Eddie actually treats him like how he's supposed to be treated and doesn't do a Floyd Mayweather mistake where they treat him as like a stepping stone, just a little do they know become a great boxer. And yeah, I just want to say good job, Diego.
So let's talk about we know I don't know what your thoughts were on the TikTok and YouTube boxing event. So what were your general thoughts? What were like your favorite fight, your least favorite fight? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was honestly surprised by the quality, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
I lucky thought, maybe this is just me believing in stereotypes too much, but I lucky thought that because TikTok was involved, that the quality was just going to be dookie. But no, it was actually like really, really good. But it sometimes felt a little too extra, especially with the ring walks. It gave like a WWE feel. Like the big screen names, the fire pyro. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But quality wise, it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it like the production quality was awesome. I mean, no one's getting paid right now, but like, what did you think of the like Deji and Vinny fight? Because that was like the big one where everyone was like, I cannot believe that happened.
Obviously, I'm not gonna go be like, oh, I knew Vinny was gonna win since day one. No, we all thought Deji was gonna like 10-0 this guy, like just absolutely destroy him. We were wrong. We were 100% wrong, and I lucky feel bad for Vinny Hacker too because this isn't more of a Vinny Hacker, you did great. This is more of a Deji, you did bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Deadly's cardio and his terrible trainers and his terrible work ethic. And I said this, like Deadly is not meant to be a boxer. And oh, by the way, Alex said that the extra is probably the appearance from big artists, too much money wasted on the artists, which I agree on. But yeah, I think Deadly's cardio just it lost him. And like after hearing what his coaches did, like I'm like, this guy has a lot of issues. So like, I don't want to see him box again until he's 100% committed. Because but what YouTuber has lost 2 times in a row? No one. So if he loses a third time, it's over. And JK said, "Yo."
Yeah, I agree. You know what's crazy? It's not even the fact that Deji's stamina. I mean, obviously his stamina is dookie, arguably the worst in the YouTube scene. But it's not even that his stamina failed him. It was also his ring IQ. Because apparently his coaches told him to go for the round 1 knockout.
Yeah.
So Deji could have lasted longer if he was just smart with his stamina. People are like, oh, he gassed out so quick. Well, to be fair, the man wasted everything. It's the same mistake Logan did in the Floyd fight with that awful barrage. Like, it's not that their stamina only lasts 2 minutes. It's what they decide to do with those 2 minutes that deplete their stamina. Which Deji's ring IQ was so low that he was like, okay, I'm just going to start swinging and going for the fences.
Yeah, like I was... His technique, I honestly thought was really bad. Like, I mean, it wasn't like horrendous, but like he was throwing haymakers. He was literally running in with his head, and when he was near Vinny, his head was completely open. He had no defense at all. I was like, if you put your hands up, you would have not gotten hit with the shots you did because he got hit so unnecessarily. So I agree. Very disappointing.
Wait, I gotta go take my brother to the restaurant. I'll be right back. Just give me 30 seconds. I agree.
3 people in the chat. Let's go, guys. 12:30 a.m. where I am. I don't know what about you guys, but what to do? And it was actually a funny thing. Deadly like he had his arm and he was like this, and then KSI did the exact same thing. I want to show you the thumbnail because it's just so funny. The comparison is awesome. So I'm gonna try it's Deadly versus Vinny Hacker. So okay, so this is Deadly versus Vinny Hacker, right? And then this is see how his arm is like that, and then look at this KSI versus Logan Paul 2.
I'm back.
He's doing the exact same thing. No, I was just showing the people that like there's in the thumbnail for Deadly versus Vinny Hacker and KSI versus Logan Paul 2. They're doing the exact same like wild shot. It's like so funny. Like I'm showing like there's KSI and then there was Deadly and I was like they really are brothers. That's funny. Deadly was
the thing. Deji's defense was just non-existent. Even in the Wade concept where he was like making his reactions like towards the live stream, it's like, oh, Deji's hands are low. He's gonna get connected if he doesn't put it back up. And like every single reaction video, I just heard the same thing. His hands are down. I'm like, oh no, Deji, put him up, tape him to your face. Like I was nervous, and then all of a sudden, something that surprised me that I was not expecting is Vinny Hacker had a chin. He was willing to get hit and hit back.
Yeah.
Which costed Deji damage.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was surprised with Vinny. And then JK said his defense was terrible. He should have rushed in with his hands down. Deji was lucky that Vinny's shot didn't land when he was rushing. He might have dropped him. And then someone named YOLO said, hi, it's me. Hi, it's me, TC. Okay, anyways.
It's
so that Deji fight was disappointing, and I don't know if Vinny Hacker's ever gonna box again, but I don't really care. So Austin McBoone versus Bryce Hall, thoughts?
Satisfied, happiest day of my life.
You didn't like Bryce Hall, did you?
Huh?
You didn't like Bryce Hall, did you?
No, I told you I wanted him to win. Just so KSI can mock him.
Yeah.
And I mean, KSI can mock him. So KSI can fight him and just mop the floor with Bryce. And I still kept my statement. I was like, come on, Bryce. I wasn't supporting him because I liked him. I just wanted KSI to fight him. Because I didn't think Austin versus KSI was going to happen. I thought Bryce had a higher chance of fighting KSI. So I'm over here supporting Bryce, right? But the more I'm seeing Bryce's face get punched in, my frown starts slowly turning into a smile. And the second I see Bryce like just on the canvas, I switch up and I start cheering for Austin. Like I low-key bandwagon midway, I think.
I always knew that Austin was gonna win. Like I was like, and Bryce was like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you sparring footage," and then we never got that. And so I mean, it was Bryce just got like attacked from the beginning. Big shots, like if those were 10-ounce gloves, he would have gotten knocked out in the first round. And Austin, people were impressed with his skill level, him doing southpaw stance and switching stances, and he actually had a really good jab. And I know that we might have KSI versus Austin on the horizon. And I guess the big question is, like, do you think that's like a good fight? I know your answer, but do you think that's a good fight? And like, when would you want to see that?
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing fight because the majority, it's not true, but we have to like accept the fact that this is what the majority thinks, that KSI can't box. We obviously know, but we obviously know that he can do something technical wise.
Yeah.
But we just don't know how far yet.
Yeah.
But to the casuals, KSI's a walking windmill, can't jab, can't hook, whatever, just haymakers.
Yeah.
This is the perfect fight to prove that. Because one, not only is he just gonna fight technical against some random boxer, he's gonna fight technical against a southpaw. And in order to defeat a southpaw, you need footwork. Because when you're fighting a southpaw, it's all about whose foot is on the outside. So we're gonna see KSI's footwork. We're gonna see his in-pocket fighting. We're gonna see his head movement. Everything that is technical, we're gonna see in this fight.
Yeah, I want to see him. Like, I want to see him. I think he needs to. Do you think if he doesn't knock out Austin in 3 rounds, even if he does win, it's a bit of an L?
Like if it goes through unanimous decision, or if he knocks him out, but it took a few rounds to
saying it's like if KSI doesn't knock out Austin in 3 rounds, do you think that that's kind of a bit of a loss for like KSI because we were kind of expecting him to do that?
Not really. I don't expect early KOs from KSI. Not because he's bad or anything, but Vidal has trained him to not use his gas tank around one, which is smart. Bring IQ. So I wouldn't be mad if KSI doesn't do that because KSI has always been known for taking his time.
Yeah.
In the Joe Weller fight, he took his time. The second he let go, he won. In the KSI fight, he took his time, but in order that sacrificed him getting his ass beat the first few rounds. But he obviously came back. He's known for taking his time. He's not a round one punch knockout artist like supposedly Jake. He's not like that, and it's not bad. Like Mike Tyson, knockout artist, but that doesn't make him a greater or less of a boxer than Floyd Mayweather, who goes to the judges. You know what I mean? It's not nothing different.
Yeah. I think that like I would kind of I think Austin will get knocked out, but I think that I would rather see JJ go 5 rounds and show so much technicality than get like a first round KO because then people can be like, oh, so he can compete on a higher level, which I think he can. So I'm excited to see that fight. And Austin was good, but like I feel like when he fought Bryce, like I think he just needs to jab him more because I feel like he would let down the jab and he would come from like a distance in with like these weird hooks or whatever. And I just was like, just the guy like when Austin was doing his jab, Bryce's head just went back all of the time, and I was like, that jab is powerful. So, but Austin is smaller than KSI, so this is the first fight and the first pro fight where KSI is going to have a significant advantage. And we saw with Joe.
Besides Joe.
Yeah, and Joe was smaller, and KSI just jabbed him, and he won. And then when he went all in the third round, he got the win. So I'm excited for that fight. Hopefully, I think that he can do that at the end of the year because, like, I don't think he should underestimate Austin, but, like, it's not like he's fighting Tommy Fury or Jake Paul. Like, I think you could do this in December and have 2 months of training or a month of – because he's going on tour in October. So I'm like, if you do it at the end of December, that's almost 2 months of training, and you can give Austin some time to catch up to you. But, like, I mean, I'm not worried about Austin because Austin's, like, probably still boxing not the pro levels, and KSI, like, I heard in, like, a podcast that his friend did that, like, he's going 12 rounds with, like, 3 different sparring partners, and they're all pros. Like, he's at this other level of, like, practice compared to Austin. So I think that, like, he's already doing the work now. So I think this is a fight perfect for this year. And then I think you should have at least one more fight before Jake that's, like, semi more competitive. And I think should be someone in the combat world so he can get some more credibility.
There is something, like, I think KSI beats Austin, and KSI is levels above him, but I'm nervous if KSI gives Austin a bit too much time because Austin's learning growth speed was insane.
Yeah.
Because the Austin that showed up in his first pro fight would absolutely smoke KSI's first amateur fight. That was out. We were all surprised that he did all that in 3 months training. Same with Jarvis. These people learned to box pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a bit nervous because if he was able to do that in 3 months, who knows what he can do with 6 more other months? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know where his learning growth speed will take him.
Yeah, like, I know that right now he's not training and it's, like, July or whatever. So, like, if he got back into, like, I think he'll have at least, like, 3 or 4 months of training. And, like, I mean, I would rather have Austin be, like, really good and then KSI is able to still beat someone that's really good. Because right now, everyone's like, this is an easy fight. Austin, he's not a bum, but, like, he's a stepping stone. He's someone that you fight as just a warm-up. But, like, if Austin can prove himself to be more than a warm-up and, like, more better and, like, show that he has more skill than any of Jake's opponents, minus Woodley, which hopefully is Jake's first real good opponent, and that will allow KSI to prove a lot of technical skills. So, I only see positives, even if Austin is really good. But I think the only negative is if he's really good and KSI, for some reason, starts getting wild, and even if he still wins, people will be like, see, he's always wild. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But, yeah. And then KSI might fight Adam Salah. And what do you think about that?
I think Adam Salah's probably the biggest out of the influencers. He's probably one of the biggest disgraces of the sport.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of riggedness and false fighting. It's nothing new to boxing, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm not saying out of the entire sport because there's been worse.
Yeah.
But out of the influencers, he should never step in the ring again. I don't know if he's actually a good boxer. I still think a part of me, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but a part of me still thinks that he could still move around the ring. Like he's probably still good at boxing. I'm never gonna trust him now because he got full out flat exposed rigging a fight. And even if he was good at boxing, even if he was the hyped version of himself, KSI is too big. KSI doesn't have to be good to beat Adam. He just has to tap him.
Yeah.
There's weight classes for a reason. Unless you're Logan, because then you just suck at boxing and Floyd whooped his ass.
Yeah, like KSI, I think his power is just gonna knock him out. So I hope that video is public so we can see him because I think that's gonna be like a Nate Robinson level knockout, like 100%. I think that will end in the first round, and I think it'll be a KO. And then Slim wants to fight Deji, which shouldn't happen, but I would love to see Slim versus Gib, and I think Gib would absolutely whoop Slim. I don't know if he'd knock him out because I don't know if Gib has knockout power, but Gib was really good in the Taylor fight. Oh, and what did you think about Gib's performance? Because I mean that was so impressive, and I was so happy that he won.
A part of me actually got mad. I was like, damn, Taylor, you're doing Eddie Reynoso. You're bringing shame to his name. Because I'm a big fan of, not Taylor, I'm a fan of people who are in his camp. He had Canelo's cornerman. He had Canelo as a sparring partner once who gave him advice. Eddie Reynoso let him into his gym. I was rooting. I know people go, oh, TikTok. I was rooting for Taylor, not because he's Taylor. I was just rooting for him because I wanted to show people what the Canelo camp can do.
Yeah.
But Canelo ruined it. I mean, Canelo. But what's his name? God, I don't even know his name. Taylor ruined it by being a goddamn statue that pigeons poop on by just holding still the entire time. But Gibbs' performance was amazing. He was going body to the head. He was really amazing. Which also got me a bit more mad because then I was thinking, where the hell was this when you fought Jake?
Here's my thing. My theory, I think this is what my thing. Gib never boxed that way in any of his spars. I don't think he actually got good at boxing until after he lost to Jake. He literally looks like a completely different boxer. The hype that he was given leading up to the Jake fight, he never was, right? I that's what I always say, which is why I don't really credit. Why I give credit to Jake, but I say that that wasn't as tough as an opponent. Now, if Gib performed that way against Jake, I still think Jake would be too powerful for Gib, and I think he'd get knocked down.
Yeah.
I still think Gib would lose to Jake. But if he put on that performance, that would have gone maybe 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and Jake would have actually gotten in a competitive fight, and I would have given credit there, right? But that didn't happen. But still, he looked so good. The body shots, he was coming out with the jab. He had balance. He had really good head movement. Everything about him it was so good. And Taylor was oh, he barely landed any punches. And I'm he outpointed you. And literally, it just the whole fight is him just going into your body again and again. It's
yeah.
And then what were you gonna say?
I'm still confused about the tweet that they made before the judges, before the hands were raised. They tweeted out Taylor Holder won.
That was so shady. That was so shady.
I think Social Gloves should be out of business for good. I think they filed for bankruptcy already.
Yeah, so that's the rumor.
Yeah.
Which is sad because I think they're a good company, but I think that they messed up with this event.
They did such an amazing job with the quality.
Yeah.
But that's no excuse for all the fighters putting their I'm not gonna say lives because I highly doubt anybody can do that much damage. Yeah. But putting their dignity at risk and having all these rappers come out, having all these engineers help you for the stadium. They practically did it for charity.
Yeah, like I think that like the way they should have done this is the way they did KSI versus Joello, because for the people that watched that fight, it was not an extreme, like it was good quality, but it was not like anywhere near the social clips level. Like it was at the Kapu Box Arena, which was a much smaller arena. They didn't have big screens and rappers. They just had YouTubers fighting, and that was it. Like they were very smart on how they made this event happen, and it was for free on YouTube. This was $60 for TikTokers and YouTubers to fight. Who's paying for that? I'm not surprised they got 100,000 like pay-per-view buys, because like who would pay money? I wouldn't pay money for that. Like I pay money for the KSI versus Logan fights, because like they were $10, or like they were like not like really expensive, but like this was way too much money. And they why they thought going to the Hard Rock Stadium was like a good idea. It's like Bryce Hall's manager said, like, Bryce, you can't even like you wouldn't be able to sell these many tickets, and Bryce didn't listen to him. It's like I just think that like from a marketing standpoint, I would have done things very differently, and I think if you made the pay-per-view cheaper, it was at a smaller arena, and you made sure that the pay was not like 5 million, which is what Bryce was offered or whatever. It would have been so much more successful.
Yeah.
Like
Then you just start feeling bad.
Yeah. Like there were like bootlegs of it on YouTube. There's still bootlegs up that have like millions of views, and like they just didn't take it down.
Yeah. And honestly, I think what makes it even more shady is that they've been doing shady stuff even before the what's it called? Even before the event. Like for the influence tournaments for whoever gets a slot on the card, right? They were all saying, oh, you guys are doing 1 minute rounds, 2 1 minute rounds, and we're gonna add 8 people to the card. As soon as all the influencers get in there, they changed it. Oh, 2 2 minute rounds, and only one of you guys get in. Like this is not the first time doing shady last second things, and it's just I don't know. And then you start just getting weirded out by LiveX Live as well, because they're the ones who are responsible for the pay-per-view buys, not Social Gloves. As weird, as crazy as that sounds, it's LiveX Live, and they're taking way too long with these numbers. Well, so they're both at fault here, and they're both shady businesses.
Yeah, like I think Keemstar said that Gibb and Deji got paid. Or it was on Logan's podcast. Someone said that, but I guess no one in America has been paid at all. And clearly there was shady business there. So yeah, it's sad that like people aren't getting paid, and the event, we're probably not going to get another event like that ever again. But I think that they need to be way smarter. Oh, and KSI started his own boxing promotion. What do you think about that?
I think that's probably not the best idea.
Why?
Unless I'm underestimating his wealth.
He's teamed up with the Wasaman brothers, or like he teamed up with people that like are in the boxing world. So I don't know what his event's gonna be, but like I think it will be successful. I don't know if it will be like it will turn into like something like The Zone or something, but like people are like, oh well, like KSI copied off Jake, and I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know Jake Paul had a boxing promotion company. At least KSI put out a trailer.
Did?
Yeah.
He does?
Yes. And like at least KSI promoted it and put out a trailer. Jake Paul just put it on the Jake Paul versus Woodley poster and said, that's my boxing company. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, guys, come on. Like I didn't even know Jake Paul had a promotion company. Like and it's like it's stupid.
Wow.
Yeah. They both did.
Wait, but how does he have a promotion company if he's fighting under Showtime right now?
I just Jake Paul, Angel. Who knows what that guy? I don't know.
Well, I think it's a bad mistake on both ends, on Jake and KSI, because they're gonna have to make commitments to fighters. Like unless they're keeping it influence-wise, if KSI is really serious about this, he's gonna have to start dropping his music, because he's gonna have to look for amateurs. He's gonna have to attend local events. He has to attend the Olympics. He has to look for all this young talent, and You have to invest in these kids, in the future of boxing, and you can't do that with his schedule because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. Not only that, I think I might be underestimating as well, but it's just I don't know. I just feel like this could financially bite him in the butt.
Yeah.
Same with Jake.
I think he said that he's gonna just do celebrity boxing matches. I don't think he's gonna do like he's not gonna like look for amateur people. Like, I think it's like specifically just for like celebrities.
That's probably safer.
And I think that I like that their mission statement is like we're creating boxing events that make sense from a celebrity standpoint. Like so we're not gonna get something like Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, which made no sense, right? Like we're gonna get stuff that makes sense and will sell business wise. And I'm like, that's what I liked about KSI's whole attitude is like he doesn't do fights that don't make sense or for like money or just because it will get me all this attention. Like he does it because it makes sense, and I respect that, and I'm glad that they're bringing that to their company.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of. I wonder if, like, even with all these promotion companies, which, in my opinion, I just don't think are going to last long. I think Jake's probably going to break first. I just don't know if, even with their big, powerful names, if they can ever promote a celebrity fight that would ever be as big as Prime YouTube boxing. And yes, I'm including the Jake fights because they did bring noise. Stephen A. Smith even talked about it. And I don't think, no matter how how big their names are, I don't think the promotion companies can ever replicate Prime YouTube boxing days. Besides, obviously, the big golden goose of Jake versus KSI.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that like KSI, like I look at KSI versus Logan Paul's press conference, the build up, the diss tracks, the first fight. And I'm like, nothing has come close to that level of hype or interest. Like that was peak YouTube boxing. Because and like it was, but I think it's because it was so new that like everyone like was excited. Whereas now it's like, oh, we know what to expect, and like bigger companies get involved. And then KSI's receding hairline is mad about everything KSI does. Do you know that Instagram account?
Nope.
Yeah, so it's basically like a KSI hate account, like, and it's a girl that runs it, and it's so easy to disprove everything that this person says, and yeah, so that was yeah. Anyways, oh, and it was weird, like she in this the KSI was seeing hairline, they posted like a story, like stories. And someone like said, "What would KSI be or whatever?" And someone said like a cotton picker, and then they had KSI like picking cotton in a cotton field, and I was like, "That's so messed up. Why would you do that?" Like that was a wow moment for me. So I don't know like what her problem is, but anyways, so what were the other? Was that all the big events, TikTok events? So on the card, right?
My favorite fight, which is low-key underrated, and I feel like nobody's giving like it like good the amount of love it deserved. Like even KSI, Wade, they all ranked it. Well, not Wade. He actually gave it a good ranking, but KSI and like all these other YouTubers gave it a low ranking. Kale versus Ryan was insanely entertaining for me. I told you that I wouldn't be surprised if this is my favorite fight of the night, which it was.
Why?
Because it showed that Ryan was a boxer and Kale was a scrapper. It was practically like Jake versus Gibb, except more fair.
Yeah.
We got to see someone with heart of a lion constantly fighting wild while Ryan was trying to time his punches. It felt like Logan versus KSI. Well, obviously not like the same stature, but like the narrative of boxer versus wild man.
Yeah.
In the KSI fight, obviously the wild man won.
Yeah, like I liked, I think people aren't giving that. I agree that the fight's not getting enough love because I thought Ryan was good. I thought he was a little too wild at some places, but Cole had some weird movement, but I liked it. Like he was moving around really good, and obviously he lost. But I want to see them fight again, not against each other, but I think they could both fight again.
Yeah, and even though the Kale kid, right? Even though he wasn't orthodox, he still looked like he's done this before. Not like he's good, but like the way how his body was fluid and he was calm, it looked like, oh yeah, this is an average walk in the park. Until got beat up.
Yeah. So I really like that fight, and I'm sad that again that they're not going to have a second Social Gloves event, but it was still a good event. I thought all of the fights were entertaining, which even in like real boxing fights, like not every single fight is amazing, but like every fight I was like, okay, I'm ready, I'm invested. What's next? It was great.
Yeah, I
Um,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Did you by any chance? Did you see the Gervonta versus Mario fight?
I wanted to watch it, but I've been like insanely busy these past couple weeks. But I did watch the Wade
Yeah.
Concepts video on it, and from what I heard, it was a really competitive fight. But Gervonta kind of had a comeback after Floyd talked to him, and yeah. So what did you think of that fight?
I was really thinking Mario was gonna pull the upset, dude. Mario was actually winning every single round. He was ahead on the scorecard, right? But you know how if you get a knockdown, they deduct a point away from you. So it's usually 10-9. But if I knock you down, the score will now be 10-8.
Yeah.
If I knock you down again, 10-7. So what happened was the fight was going Mario's way. He was 3 points up ahead. However, Gervonta Davis knocked him down twice in one round, making it 10-7 on the scorecards. And it was practically a draw until Floyd Mayweather blessed them with advice. And Gervonta did his thing and he beat Mario.
Yeah.
But Mario was winning the fight, but Tank has a dog in him, man.
I saw like Gervonta knock him down, and I was impressed that he got back up and he just continued fighting. So I haven't seen the full fight, but I've seen clips of it, and it seemed like it was a really good fight. And obviously, Ryan Garcia said that he wants to fight Gervonta next, and I thought he was like taking a step back for mental health problems or whatever.
I've lost all respect for Ryan at this point, man.
Yeah, didn't he like continue to talk like while he was on a break?
Yeah, so when he fought Luke Campbell, the point of the Luke Campbell fight was to be Devin Haney's mandatory. So when he won, he could have fought Devin Haney right there and then that year, but he ducked Devin Haney. A few months later, he's talking trash about Devin Haney. Oh, I would have slept you. What's next? Ryan Garcia had a mandatory fight with Fortuna. I'm not surprised you don't know who he is. He's still on the up and coming. He's under the radar.
Mhm.
But he ducked Fortuna, his mandatory, out of depression. So Fortuna couldn't fight anymore because of Ryan. And Fortuna gets a replacement. And all of a sudden, that's when Ryan comes out of the shadow and says, oh, I still want to fight Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. Like, bro, you're oh my God. Ryan is starting to feel like an influence boxer. And it's sad.
Yeah, well, he's hanging out with the TikTok guys and Bryce Hall and Jake Paul. So, yeah, I mean, if that's the life he wants to live, but like, yeah, I don't know. Do you think that fight will happen between Gervonta and Ryan?
I hope it. It actually is probably gonna happen because with how tight the lightweight is right now, eventually they're gonna be mandatory. Unless it's only gonna happen because Gervonta Davis is at a higher weight class now because of Mario, so he has to vacate his belt and go back to lightweight, and they're eventually gonna be mandatories. And when it happens, I see Gervonta Davis manhandling Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think Ryan has any chance at beating Gervonta?
Yeah. I think everyone has a chance. To me, Ryan's only chance is to just stay behind the jab. That's what Mario did. He stayed behind the jab, and he was practically winning the fight. But second he got tired, he forgot about his plan and tried fighting in the pocket. Boom, Tank got him. Then his jab got slow, and then Tank got a haymaker over the jab. And yeah, it was a good fight. And Ryan just needs to implicate what Mario did. Just stay behind the jab and just win off points. Don't try to get a knockout because then it's going to bite you in the butt. So I think Ryan can win, but it's going to be off points. He's not knocking out Gervonta Davis.
TC said I have Tank winning, but at the same time, I see Ryan taking off Tank's jaw. And then JK said if they win the UFC, they would have already fought.
That's true. I'm surprised Connor and Poirier are doing as much numbers as they are, and it's not even a title fight. It's just a normal mandatory.
Well, like the
I think it's a
arena that
title
the
eliminator.
arena that they are at sold out months ago. So, who do you think's winning that fight?
To be honest, I don't know. But I'm gonna be rooting for Poirier.
Yeah, I feel like if Conor doesn't win this, I think he just needs to retire. Do you think he'll have to fight Jake Paul? Do you think he'll be like forced to do that? Because his manager, I read an article where like they would like talking like behind the scenes how his manager or someone in Conor close to Conor was like, if you don't win this fight, you might have to fight Jake Paul.
I feel like it's not out of the question because Connor would probably fight him, but I know he wouldn't feel proud of it. I think he would be gutted that he had to scoop that low. But with desperate times call for desperate measures, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did fight Jake, but he would definitely not be motivated to fight. Like he wouldn't care.
Yeah, but I mean, he would win that fight, right?
Yeah, he'll absolutely. I mean, yeah, he'll blur him unless Poirier does permanent damage. Then it makes it a fair fight.
Yeah, I mean, Conor just like he had that boxing stance, and that's what kind of I guess lost him the fight. So I think as long as he doesn't do what he did in the second fight, he'll probably have a better chance. But I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just excited to see what happens. And then there was the Wilder versus Fury press conference, which I mean, you could call that math class. That was the most boring press conference I have ever seen in my life. Like, there were math classes that are more exciting than that. It was so bad. It was so, and the fight. No one wants this fight either. We wanted Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. We're not gonna get that. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I think I know what Wilder's trying to do.
What's he
I
doing?
think he's trying to avoid getting memed again. That's what I think. He doesn't want to like say, "Oh, it's different this time. I'm gonna beat you round 1 KO." I don't think he's trying to get memed this time. I think he's trying to pull the humble man act, where you win when you're hungry. So he's trying to give this. He's trying to give this vibe that he's like, "Oh, I learned my lesson. I'm hungry again. I want to win. I'm humbled." I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he's just trying to like not get memed when he gets his booty kicked. But yeah, the press conference was low-key pretty boring. And Tyson Fury just made him more cringe talking to himself.
Yeah, and then he had his like shirt off. It was like, what's going on?
Oh, I'm happy he took his shirt off. I was like, kind of showed the body physique that he was gonna have for the Anthony Joshua fight, which gave us a sneak peek of how the weigh-ins was gonna look, size comparison, and it gave us like a sneak peek of how the tempo of the fight. That's kind of gay. There's gonna be a sneak peek of the tempo of how the fight's gonna be, whether it's fast or slow. So knowing that he's gonna have a slim body physique against Anthony Joshua's awesome, but against Deontay Wilder, he's gonna be 300 pounds, which I think is a big mistake.
I'm sorry, that was so funny. Like, no, because you just were like, I was excited to see his physique, and I was like, you were like, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, because he lost so much. Yeah, he lost so much weight.
Yeah, you were like happy. You were just happy to see him with his shirt off. Like, I don't judge. Like, that's fine. You know, it's
not like that. I just meant like
it's cool, Angel. It's like, I mean, I don't know like how the law would look on that. Like, you know, I mean, that's a minor and a man, so I don't know how that would work out. But you know what? It's okay, guys. It's not okay at all. It's actually a serious issue. But yeah. Anyways, that was a funny moment. I want to. You know what? I'm gonna put in the description. Angel quote. I'm excited to see his body. I was excited to see Tyson Fury's body.
I mean, it was the same thing for Andy Ruiz. Everyone was excited to see his new physique.
I mean, yeah, I guess, like, yeah, totally. Like, I want to see, yeah.
It's just insane that he came from 300 to 250. That's why I was excited because that's Anthony Joshua's. That's Anthony Joshua's weight. So we were so close to seeing an Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury
I
fight.
know.
You could tell just by his weight. But now he has to bulk up again. And now he has to fight Deontay Wilder. He said he wants to go back to 300 pounds just for that fight. Hello. Hold on.
Guys, that was a funny moment.
I'm back.
Wait, so Anthony Joshua was fighting Usyk, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think's winning that?
I think Usyk is lucky going to pull an upset. I think he's going to pull an upset. I hope he pulls an upset.
But then we won't get Tyson Fury versus AJ.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, this would also help the cruiserweight get more attention, which has been a dead division.
Well, do you think if Tyson and Usyk fight, Tyson will win or lose?
Oh, Tyson. I think Tyson beats Usyk, and Tyson also beats AJ, but I think Usyk beats AJ as well.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I hope AJ wins only because, well, I mean, I like the dude. He's a nice guy. But I also want to see the Tyson and AJ fight because, like, that, it seems like such a good fight. Like, I don't want to lose that, but that might happen.
Yeah, I want to see Usyk win because if he does, we would be witnessing Evander Holyfield 2.0 because Evander Holyfield, the heavyweight legend, he started off as being a cruiserweight boxing world champion, and that's exactly what Usyk is doing. Cruiserweight boxing world champion is going to heavyweight, and Usyk is actually the first cruiserweight boxing champion ever to have all the belts undisputed ever. Not even Evander Holyfield did it.
Wow.
Which is why I think he is probably going to beat Anthony Joshua, who had a hard time against Andy.
TC is saying, no, Chief. AJ will win via KO. Angel, my heart.
I'm sorry, TC, but, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, we've seen Anthony Joshua get rocked way too many times. In the Andy fight, in the Klitschko fight, in the Chisora fight. Like, bro, he's been rocked too many times. Usyk, bro, never been rocked. And he's the first undisputed ever of all time in cruiserweight. No one else has done that in history. Which is why I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, so I'm excited for those fights, though. And then, did you want to talk about Canelo? Was there something with Canelo?
Oh, yeah, Canelo versus Arthur. That's a scary fight. I'm scared for Canelo.
Did you say that guy's, like, heavier than him?
Yeah, he's a light heavy. He's 175. Canelo currently is 168.
Oof, that's a big weight. Do you think that Canelo will maybe lose that fight?
Oh, yeah, it's a huge possibility. But I'm still going to ride for Canelo because
if he beats,
I would, like, cry.
Yeah, if he beats this guy, like, are you going to be, like, ecstatic beyond belief?
Yeah, because he's going to defeat the light heavyweight champion of the world who has a 100% KO rate. This is going to be the true test for Canelo because Canelo's been known for his head movement, right?
Yeah.
This is the perfect way to show his head movement. Because if even one punch lands, Canelo's going to sleep. Because Arthur, he's not a knockout artist by haymakers or crazy uppercuts. It's just short jabs and short crosses and short hooks. Like, he doesn't need to do what Canelo does, where he uses his hips and generates all this power to knock someone out.
Yeah.
Arthur does it in short punches, like little jabs, which is going to show Canelo's true skill because if Canelo wins, it's going to have to be so one-sided where he's just not untouchable. But if Canelo even gets touched once, he's getting rocked, which is scary. And I don't want Canelo to lose, but he's like my national pride fighter.
Yeah. I hope I like Canelo too. I hope he doesn't lose either. So when did they say the date for that yet, or are they still like doing the thing?
They're still doing the thing.
Okay. So we'll probably see that at some point this year. And then what else happened? Was that all you wanted? Was that everything?
Oh, I wanted to know your opinion, but Oscar De La Hoya, he was Canelo's previous promoter for Golden Boy. Oscar was like riding him so hard, like, "Oh, you're the greatest boxer of all time!" Like, "Oh, I love you, oh, Mexico!" Like he's just kissing him, right? Next thing you know, Canelo was getting dry on fights. Oscar wasn't letting him fight because Oscar was trying to protect him. Like he's like, "No, I don't want you taking these risky fights. I want to keep your record safe."
Yeah.
Canelo didn't like that. He wanted the risk and the honor and the legacy, whatever. So he left Golden Boy, went to Eddie Hearn, and now, and with Eddie Hearn, he has gotten in 3 fights in the last year, which is crazy. And all of a sudden, Oscar De La Hoya ran his mouth on Canelo, saying, "Oh, how he does everything wrong. He doesn't know how to box. He's ducking." And then Canelo responded with, "Do me a favor, please shut the freak up." And yeah, that's crazy. I just want to know what your opinion is on that, like the backstab after that.
You said freak?
No, he said shut the fuck up, but like I'm trying to be a liar. Said it.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. You can say yeah. I don't mind if you swear on this. It's not like this is monetized or anything. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. So you want to know my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly this is a guy that saw that Canelo's popping, and now he's trying to backtalk him. And I respect Canelo. I didn't know that Canelo like left him because he wanted him to take easy fights, and that's what I love. Those kind of fighters that like are willing to take the risks and like they don't care about the business or the perfect record or whether your stock goes up or down. Like I'm liking that Canelo is like, I'll fight the best of the best. Like I love that about fighters. It's like that's why I respect fighters that like just take the risk, take the big chance, take the leap. Because I'm like, these fights are actually interesting. Like I would rather see you lose than have but you like prove a lot than you have like a year of easy fights and then be like, this is boring. Like that's why I don't like Jake Paul in his career, because like Jake Paul is not boxing in a boxing way. He's boxing like in a businessman way. Like he's boxing, okay, how do I make sure I don't lose and I continue to rise up in the ranks, like going to Showtime and getting a paper in your own card and doing this and that. And the way to do that is to take less hard fights. But I'm like, I don't like that. And to me as an audience member, even if it's not Jake Paul, to me it says maybe you're not as confident as you think you are, or you're robbing yourself of tasting a true fight, because if you have easy fights and then you fight someone really hard, it's going to be a bad wake-up call. And if you're someone that I like, I don't want you to have that happen. So yeah, but you know what, Canelo's on the rise, and I respect that he's that he said that.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like obviously the one with the one who wants to fight all the big names and wants to risk everything, that fight is going to get more respect. But in the long run, the business style is going to keep your legacy alive, which I don't think neither of them are wrong. They just have different views. I mean, after all, the business style, one of our greatest boxers of all time, Floyd Mayweather, did it the business style.
Yeah.
And Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time, did it the risky style.
Yeah.
And it's just there's pros and cons to both. Ali risked health issues and his record, but he gained respect.
Yeah.
Floyd gained legacy and Hall of Fame award, as well as the #1 ranked of all time, but he never gained respect. There's pros and cons to both. And I'm personally on the accept all comers, so Canelo side. So I'm happy for that. But I respect both opinions, but I don't like how Oscar De La Hoya just talks dirt on his name after that.
Yeah. Like I would rather, if I was a boxer, I would rather have like all of the respect and then like maybe lose like 5 fights or whatever, because Floyd is like hated, right? Like he's known, a lot of people don't like him. And a lot of people like Ali. Like people don't. There's some people that don't like him, but a lot of people like respect him. And I watched a documentary on him like the other day, and I was like, I really respect you, because like he like fought way past his when he should have stopped, and he continued going. And he still lost, but like I have respect for those people more than the people that take the easy fights. But I understand why the business side it makes more sense, and some people want to just wait. But I just like what Canelo is doing more.
Yeah.
Um,
TC said never fight a fast southpaw. Well, that's what KSI is gonna have to deal with. So I'm not exactly sure it's gonna be a Nate Robinson style KO. I still think KSI is gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be a vicious short fight. I think people are lucky underestimating Austin. Even though I think KSI is gonna win, I'm not underestimating Austin. I think Austin's gonna give KSI. I expect Austin to at least win one round.
really?
Which is arguably, I think Austin's gonna win one round, and I think it's possibly gonna be only the first round where KSI doesn't try.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I think that like the chances of Austin winning. I think that like Austin is not Ben Askren, but I think that the odds like are like Ben Askren beating Jake Paul. Like I don't think it's very unlikely, like very unlikely that Austin could pull an upset. But
Yeah. I think betting wise, Ben was the favorite, which was so stupid.
He became the favorite because Jake punched him, but he he slapped him on the belly, and then Ben Askren was the favorite. And to this day, I'm like,
I don't know why.
Why would you think that Ben Askren would beat Jake Paul? I said in my TikTok video when the fight got announced, first round knockout, and it happened. There wasn't a KO, but it was it ended in the first round. So
and we predicted it perfectly. We said, watch, the fight's gonna end while Ben still says he wants to continue and he's not hurt. And that's exactly what happened. The fight ended when he was like, no, I'm still ready to go. Like I told you, bro, the ref just needs to be convinced that he's hurt. But don't get me wrong, Ben was hurt. I think the ref ended it perfectly because Ben almost legit fell on the ref. But still, Ben wanted to continue, and that's what we said was going to happen. Ben wanted to keep on fighting, but they were going to end it, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah. And then Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley is happening, and Woodley was training with Mayweather a couple days ago. And I like that he's taking this seriously, but I also like that he said, like, I got to make sure I don't have a square stance and I don't go back to MMA tactics. And I'm like, I am so glad you're saying that because Ben Askren went back to doing the basic like doing MMA, essentially MMA boxing. And I'm like, I'm just glad that he's self-aware that he has a lot to work on. So, do you think, so we think it's a 50-50 fight, but like, do you think Woodley has a better chance of beating Jake right now, or do you think his opinions changed and you think Jake might have a better chance?
No, I think Woodley has a higher chance of still beating Jake. I know Nappy's gonna be like, hey, your prediction was wrong if Jake Paul wins.
Yeah.
Nappy, just know, like, I don't care. But here's the thing. I have mixed feelings about Floyd training him because, one, I'm happy that Tyron's taking this seriously, and I hope he sleeps Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But two, if Jake wins, I feel like this is gonna hurt Floyd's legacy, dude, because I feel like Floyd's only doing Floyd has never cared about Woodley. Let's be honest. Floyd has never talked about this man once in his life. I feel like he's doing this out of pettiness or out of some saltiness to some certain extent. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Floyd is helping Tyron Woodley beat one of the scum of the earth. I think he's doing it for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think Floyd is definitely the kind of guy to do things out of his own self-interest or whatever. Because maybe it's because of the hat moment, but I mean, here's the thing. Like Floyd trained with him for a day. Like that's like he only did a day of teaching with him. So I mean, if Floyd was his main coach and Woodley lost, like that would be a big L. But I'm like, Floyd's helped other people, and like I think he helped Nate Robinson once. I think Jake posted that, and like, but I mean, Nate wasn't sparring or anything, so that's different. But like, I think it's still a bit of an L, but like Floyd isn't like the main coach. Like if he was Woodley's main coach and Woodley got knocked out in the first round, I would have been like, yeah, that's not good for you. But like you saw what he did with Gervonta. He was like in the corner and he like touched his gloves. That's what he needs to do. He needs to be ringside with Woodley, touch his gloves, and he'll get the power of Mayweather.
That's honestly, I was like one of the bandwagon haters for Floyd back then.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like too young. I was just manipulated by the bandwagon hate. I was like, oh yeah, I hate him too. And when people ask me why, I just say the same basic thing everyone says. Oh, he cherry picked. And when someone asks me why, like, what makes you think he cherry picks, I'm like, I don't know. He cherry picked. Now I understand why people hate him. But watching that, even though I had a hate for Floyd, it was low-key wholesome to see. They have like a father-son relationship. They have like a mentor. Like, Gervonta Davis is Floyd Mayweather's legacy. And it's just awesome to see how he's leaving him.
Yeah. And someone said in the comments, like Gervonta was kind of arguing with Floyd when Floyd was saying you're down, and it kind of mirrored when Floyd's father was kind of giving Floyd criticism, and then Floyd was like no and arguing with him. So that was cool. So then I really hope Woodley wins. Like I think that I don't think he's gonna be coming out like Ben Askren. Like I don't think he's gonna be a bum. I think this will actually be Jake's actual first fight. And I think that it will go. I think it will go past the first round. But my thing is, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna make a prediction video when the fight gets nearer. But I'm not gonna say that Woodley's gonna win or that Jake's gonna win. I'm just gonna say it's a 50-50 because I don't want to pick one person because it's so it could really go either way. But I think that if Woodley is to beat Jake, I think it will be earlier, and if Jake beats Woodley, I think it will be later. And I think most people would be like, I think Jake would take out Woodley early, but I think that I have a feeling if Jake is gonna beat Woodley, it will be later on. That's just my thoughts. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Woodley has always lost through later rounds, so that's not. I would only agree with you if we saw how Jake does in later rounds.
Yeah.
So until then, I'm gonna stay neutral on that point of view because I don't know how Jake's gas tank is. I'm surprised that Jake wanted to fight Woodley, to be honest with you. I thought he was just going to duck. And, yeah, props to Jake, I guess. But here's the thing. I'm actually, KSI refuses to make a prediction on this fight as well. Even in the tier list, he said, oh, wow, if he beat Woodley, then, yeah.
Well, I mean, he only predicted, the Jake and Nate fight, and, Gib and Benny didn't. Well, I mean, Benny... He didn't he said, "Oh, Ben's gonna beat him," and they kind of took it back. But he's not good he's had a track record of not predicting fights good. So I'm not surprised that he's just staying out of the prediction zone for this fight.
Yeah, but it also goes to show that KSI knows deep in his heart that he cannot call Tyron Woodley a bum. He can't.
No. The only reason why I would call Tyron Woodley a bum is if he boxes Jake Paul like Ben Askren, but I'm very confident that will not happen. That's the only time that's the only reason I would call him a bum. But I honestly, even if he goes out and he loses, as long as he shows decent boxing skills and he gives Jake a run for his money a little bit, I'm gonna be like, that was a good fight. Woodley just wasn't good enough, But yeah, I don't think anyone can call him a bum right now.
But what I'm worried for most is I'm one of the people who think Woodley has a heart. I see it as a 60-40. 60 to Woodley, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that if Jake wins in a first round KO, right?
Yeah.
I'm worried that people are gonna be like, oh, it's only because Tyron Woodley's a bum. And I'm gonna be feeling bad that they're just talking trash on one of the greatest UFC strikers of welterweight of all time. That's why I don't want it to be a first round KO because one, they're gonna downplay Jake, which he deserves credit for beating a UFC striker as Tyron Woodley. And two, they're gonna call my man Woodley a bum. I don't want that. That's why I hope it's not a first round KO.
Yeah, the thing is with Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, Ben could have survived many rounds. He just had no head movement. He had no there were moments he easily could have avoided getting knocked out in the first round, but he just was really terrible. Yeah. So it's Woodley is gonna have to be extremely poor to get knocked down in the first round. Because I think it's very easy to last one round with Jake, I think, if you play your cards right and you know what you're doing. So, I don't think people should call him a bum unless he boxes like Ben Askren and Nate Robinson. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I really don't think that will happen. But if he boxes well, he's got head movement, he's dodging Jake's shots, and he's hitting Jake with heavy shots and Jake still knocks him out in the first round, I'm gonna be like, wow, I have to give you credit for that. And I will put him at the top in God tier, guys. So don't worry. I know you guys are pressed about that. But I'll if Jake beats Tyron Woodley, I'll put him in God tier. I promise. I'll make an updated video. I will do it.
What's another thing? TZ said, what about Francis versus Jake Paul? Francis kills Jake Paul. Not even a question. Francis murders Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Obliterated.
You know, I think that, like, even if Jake beats Woodley, like, obviously I'm gonna, like, when it comes to KSI versus Jake, I'm like, KSI, you're gonna have to fight someone really good to beat Jake Paul, or to, like, prove that you can be at that level. But I'm like if Woodley comes out with like a square stance, or like Ben Askren, he kind of came out with like he wasn't really coming out with like a good boxing stance or whatever. And I'm like, I know KSI from a technical level is not like he's not like a god compared to like I mean a lot of people are better than Ben Askren, but like with these MMA guys, it's like they're doing stuff that like KSI wouldn't do. Like I know KSI isn't. I'm not saying KSI's levels above them, but like KSI wouldn't come out like wouldn't have like MMA style tactics, or wouldn't be preconditioned to fighting a certain way. Like he's conditioned to fight in a boxing stance and in a boxing IQ. So like right now, I just want people to remember that. It's like, yes, Jake Paul beat Ben Askren, but like KSI wouldn't have that mentality or that way of fighting like that Ben Askren did, because it's so different.
In my opinion, if Jake versus Woodley goes like the distance and there's like around 6 KO to Jake Paul,
yeah,
I feel like we should take this as an advantage to use Tyron Woodley as a measuring stick and just have him fight KSI. And that would be the perfect narrative. Because KSI, Jake has always done this to KSI. He's always been like, oh, I finished Gib faster than you. Oh, I finished Joe Weller faster than you. I feel like now it should be KSI's turn to use that and be like, fight Woodley, and we can see where the levels are. Like, okay, Jake did this against Woodley because I did this against Woodley.
Yeah.
However, it would be really dicey for JJ.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like if Jake Paul beats Woodley, he's probably going to move up to like the big UFC guys. And I'm like, I know this is risky, but like I think KSI should fight Tommy Fury before he fights Jake, because he will do something that Jake never did, and that's fight a pro boxer and beat a pro boxer. And like if Jake gets used to fighting these UFC guys, he's able to get away with stuff, and then KSI fights an actual boxer, and he's not. And like I just think that if KSI beat Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury was like really good, I think it would like everyone would be like, whoa, like we need this fight now, because like Jake proved he can beat really good people. KSI proved that, and he proved he could beat a boxer. So you know, I really don't want Jake to win, because that means that the fight with KSI and Jake might not happen for like another like 2 years or something, because KSI's gonna have to fight for another year, Jake's gonna have to fight for another year, and then you know Jake has a fight at the end of 2022. It might get delayed, so like you know if Jake being Woodley would make it a more interesting like matchup, but like it still would be like delaying it, and I want it like as soon as possible.
Yeah, like if Jake Paul loses to Tyron Woodley, do you think that would break the Jake versus KSI fight to ever happen?
So no, because I think it would definitely make people more nervous for him for KSI, but it's really on KSI. Like KSI's, I think if Jake beats Woodley, I think KSI should do as little music as possible and do as much boxing as possible. And I think instead of fighting Austin, you should go for Dylan Dennis, you know, and make a name for himself by fighting a UFC guy, and then fight, you know, like I think you have to fast track it. You know, whereas if Jake loses to Woodley, KSI can fight Mick Kapoor and then fight Jake. But I think that the hype will always be there. KSI just needs to actively fight and beat really good people, and then it will just only continue to grow and grow. And then you'll get like the actual boxing community invested in it. So it might diminish it a little bit, but I think as long as KSI is active and Jake's active and they're both winning, or if one of them loses, I think the narrative and the interest will always be there. I don't think that I think the fight will happen. I don't think it won't ever happen. I think we will see KSI and Jake fight, But when is who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky wondering if, like, let's say Jake and KSI were to fight after KSI versus Tommy, right?
Yeah.
KSI versus Tommy. But let's just take a back step to where you said that. Do you think KSI would even want to take that fight?
I feel like if Jake beats Woodley, I think he kind of has to because he doesn't have to do that, but like I think that if Jake beats Woodley and then like let's say he beats another like Dustin Poirier or Nate Diaz, like let's say I'm not saying he's gonna beat those guys, but let's say he beats those guys. JJ's gonna he can't fight like Austin McBroom, Dylan Dennis, and then Chuck Liddell, right? Like that because then people would be like they're just levels in difference. So like I think KSI needs to upstage Jake, but that means taking a risk. But I think KSI takes risks, so I think that's why it's more likely to happen, and that's what I would do. I would risk it all to prove that I can be at Jake's level, even if that and even if KSI loses like to Tommy, Jake I think would still accept that fight. Like he would like be like, oh, this is just an easy fight, so I can be the king and then I can move on. So, yeah. So I feel like he kind of has to if Jake beats Woodley and then he beats better people, or he beats a pro boxer.
If you would have to predict what year the KSI versus Jake fight happens, what year do you think?
If you asked me this last year, I would have said this year. So I would say it's definitely it might happen in November, December of 2022, but
wow,
I don't think this fight will happen until 2023, and then if not 2023, 2024. But like. Yeah, because like here's the thing: if Jake beats Woodley, KSI has to do like a year of fights. So then when they fight, it'll be the end of 2022. Now, if Jake loses, the fight happens probably next year. Like this time next year, it could be happening, right? And I would love that to happen. So and like if Jake then like loses to like a real boxer or whatever after beating Woodley, then it changes. So I don't think we're getting this fight like a year from now. I don't think it will have happened yet.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but like, well, it's like the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight. Like that fight took 5 years to happen. So it's not like this is an unprecedented wait period.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna. If I would have to, I think it's gonna happen probably December. No, I'm actually, I'm feeling dicey. I think it's gonna happen January of 2023.
I would like it. Like, imagine if it happened on the anniversary of KSI versus Joe Weller, because that's like where YouTube boxing started, and if it was in 2023, it would be the 5-year anniversary. Like, that would be really cool.
I would love it if it happened on August 25th.
Well, I don't know. I would want it to happen in February because that's like on the same day that KSI versus Joe Weller happened, because that was the first ever boxing event. Maybe if Jake and KSI fought in August and KSI won, that would make more sense. But yeah,
I want to see August 25th because that's when they both fought in the same ring. Symbolic that they first met in the ring August 25th, and they're gonna end it in the ring August 25th.
That's true. And like I know people like might say I'm crazy, but I think KSI is scared of Jake a little bit, and I think Jake is also really scared of KSI, maybe more, because like every interaction Jake and KSI have had, like Jake like went into the ring after KSI hit Logan after the bell, and Jake stopped himself, and then in for the audience's sake, I'll still say so, and then in the hallway, Jake Paul kind of just like didn't say anything to KSI.
Oh, he was a coward for that. He's like, no, we're
good. Yeah, and even the only time that he was ever like really confrontational was after he beat Gibb, and even then, it seemed like he was not able to bully him around the way he was able to bully Gibb or even Woodley. So I think that there's a level of fear in Jake, and I think there's a level of fear in KSI too. but I think Jake has more of it than KSI does, and I think that those interactions, I think, to me, are telling about how that fight might take place. Because I believe whenever this fight happens, even if KSI loses, or even if Jake loses, KSI is going to get put on the canvas, and Jake will be put on the canvas, and they'll both have their moment of truths. And it'll be like, who's more willing to step up to that moment of truth? That's what I think the fight will come down to whenever it happens. And I want to see them both on the canvas because, like, I want to see can they survive each other's punches because they both hit really hard.
Yeah, I think hardest hitters. I'm putting, in my opinion, number 1 Jake, number 2 KSI, number 3 Logan. I think KSI is harder than Logan. I don't care what that punching machine says, dude. KSI is harder than Logan.
Yeah, I mean, I think Logan just doesn't go into his punches. He kind of like does like slappy hooks or whatever.
It's not even that. Like, did you see that one clip where Logan hit Floyd behind the head? Like he had a clean shot of Floyd behind.
Yeah.
So right, like behind the ear.
Yeah.
How the hell are you gonna have a 40-pound advantage and still not knock out a grandfather?
Yeah, I mean,
like he was all like,
yeah, Floyd is like
Logan was. Oh, sorry.
Now you can say what you said.
Logan was all like, "Oh, all it takes is one punch." He had 2 of them, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's why I think you should go to like have a new coach or whatever because I feel like Milton, who trains him, he's good, right? But he's not. His style, I just think, only goes to a certain stage, and I think Logan's past that stage. And I think if Logan finds somebody else and teaches him a new way of fighting, I think he would excel. So but you know what? Like, I think that like I agree with that. I think that I think Logan would be like the best puncher if he had a different coach and he like went in more. Like I think he has a lot of power, but he just doesn't know how to use it. And he even said that like I don't know how to like use it to I can't go to my potential sometimes. So I feel like it's more of a mental thing. But like I think that if Logan got a new coach and some just new training, I think he would come out a beast.
Yeah, I think.
What can I say?
I don't know, dude. To me, it seems that Logan is just. I see him as a coward sometimes, man. Like he doesn't like
fighting,
getting in the pocket. Yeah, he doesn't like fighting, man. Like he doesn't like when he's getting fought. Like every time he's in the pocket, he goes for the clinch against Mayweather, and it's not something bad. You're supposed to go for a clinch. It's part of boxing, but you only go for the clinch and start hugging to buy time off when you're winning the fight, so they don't catch up. What's the point of hugging when you're losing the fight? You're not at that point. You're not using the sweet science to fight. You're using the sweet science to survive. Logan was, I don't know, dude. Look, even in the KSI fight, Logan was so scared to let his right hand go. He was thinking all about these what if scenarios. What if KSI lands? What if KSI dodges? What if KSI hits me in the gut? Like, he was thinking all these what ifs. Like, bro, shut up. Throw the right hand. Yeah, he just chokes way too much.
Yeah, he said that he overthinks things, and that's kind of why he doesn't like perform well because he like overthinks every move. And I'm like, I can tell that you overthink things. And he just needs to go for it more and like take more chances. But like, I think that I want to see Logan fight again though. Like I just think that like I think he just needs a restart in his camp and just try out something new because I think he can actually be, I think he can win. I just think he just needs the right mentality. And I feel like he had a better mentality for the Floyd fight than he did for the KSI fight.
I don't know. I think he was like trying to keep the false narrative. He felt off to me. He even came out the ring crying. He came out the ring. He did his ring walk crying. Then he said it was over a prep talk. It gave me weird vibes. All the sticking his tongue out, drumming on the ring. It just made it look like he was trying to convince us he was calm. Because I think he heard all the backlash saying how he looked scared in the second KSI fight, how he didn't want to be there.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, in the first fight, when he like walked out, he didn't. He was like he wasn't doing anything like theatrical or like trying to be a showman. He was like just focused. Like he just walked out, and you could see that there wasn't like a focus there. And yeah, so like maybe that's why he went a little more crazy. But like I respect I like that Logan went 8 rounds with him. Okay, people will say Floyd carried him and whatnot. Um, but obviously my tier list people are very upset about that. And that I think because I said that Logan was the best, but he's not number one because he never won a fight. And I don't want to like fully go into that, but that's my opinion. But here's the thing, guys. That's gonna change. Like when Jake fights again, when Logan fights again, when KSI fights again. But this is just an opinion at this moment. It's not like a fact. Like it's my opinion. It's not like I'm saying this is a thing that no one can disagree with. Like you can disagree with it because I know it's not a popular opinion to say that Jake is not number one, but that's just my opinion, and it's not fact. Like you can disagree with me, and then you can hate on me for it. Like that's why it's an opinion.
Yeah.
And again, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing. I was just taking it all in.
Like I know I've explained this, but like I just think that Jake is, like I said, he's shown the most technique out of anyone, but I think that's because he's had like we saw like when I showed you the spar of KSI and Calfreezy.
Yeah.
So you would say like if you watch that and then you saw all the other YouTubers fight, you would probably say to yourself, "Oh, KSI seems like he's at the top. Like he showed like a lot of technical ability." But then you go to him fighting someone at his level, and I don't like to use Logan as an example because like KSI fought Logan Wild for a reason, but like it showed that like he's good, but he's not like at this pedestal. Like I feel like everyone puts Jake on this pedestal of technical ability, and I'm like, that's great, but like you can box off the back foot. But like, can you box off the back foot when someone is coming at you with technique? And if you can't do that, how can I say that you were the best or on this pedestal? That's just what I say. It's like all you've convinced me or proven is you can box people that don't know how to box. So if you can't fight someone and beat someone that can box who knows what they're doing, I don't think you were ever the best to begin with, or you weren't like the worst, but you weren't god tier. It's like Logan has lesser skills than Jake, right? Like everyone's like looks at Logan and Jake and they're like Logan just looks lesser. But Logan's lesser skills still made him go 8 rounds with Mayweather. Now I know the clinching was a huge reason, but he knew how to use it. And if Jake fought Mayweather and he went less rounds, so he got blocked or whatever, I would say Logan, despite looking lesser, seems like he knew how to win or he knew how to get and survive. So that's just my reasoning behind him being at the bottom, because I just feel like I don't really know how he like actually fights. Like can he actually do everything as technically good against a bum, against someone like really good? And if he can, then like boom, he goes to number one, and I'll give him that respect. But until then, at this current moment, I'm not gonna put him at the top because I feel like he hasn't proven it, and I don't think he deserves it.
Mm-hmm. And you think the Tyron Woodley fight is going to debunk or prove this theory right?
Yeah. I think it will debunk it or prove it right. Here's the thing. I don't want to have people hating on me for hating on Jake, because I want Jake to have a good fight so I can actually see how good he is, because then we can compare that to KSI. So this whole theory that I have is gonna get disproven or it's gonna get proven, and it is what it is. But that's why he's at the bottom for me. It's not because I hate him. It's just because that's what I see. That's just what. And the thing is, like, you could say that about Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather might have been cherry picking, but he was actually boxing boxers. He was actually boxing people that.
Yeah, he's the number one boxer who's defeated. I think that boxer, Floyd Mayweather, defeated more world champions than any other boxer. To be fair, like, I hate everybody. I hate every single influencer. Sometimes I'm like bad mouthing KSI, and they're like, "Oh, you're a Jake Pauler," and then I'm bad mouthing Jake, and they're like, "Oh, you're a KSI Reddit or whatever." Bro, I hate everybody. I hate Logan. I hate Gib. I hate Deji. I hate all of them. I hate influencers, bro. And when people ask me why, I'm like, because I was here before influence boxing. I was watching Yes News. I was watching The Zone. I was watching I was watching I forgot what it's called.
Showtime.
Skytime Sports or whatever. Like I hate every single influencer because they made, and I know James is gonna still like, oh, you're still talking about this, Angel. I hate how they made boxing seem as if it was a hate sport. It's not a hate sport. You don't need hate in the sport. It's just something that I guess sells. But everybody, YouTube gave this weird image that, oh, you need to trash talk at press conferences, or you need to have hatred to box, or you need to like have this fire inside of you. That couldn't be further from the truth. But I don't hate influencers because of their past. I just hate them in general because of what they did to my sport. I don't care about these influencers. Like if someone talks to me about Jake's past, I'm like, oh, okay. Someone talks to me about KSI's abortions or whatever. I'm like, oh, all right. Logan suicide. I'm like, that's cool. Like I don't really care. I don't like any of them.
Yeah, like I mean, I like the trash talking only because it just sells the fight. Like it's purely a marketing strategy. But the thing is like it works. Like there's like that's why people continue to trash talk and use that formula because it's what sells the fight. But yeah, like that's what sells the fights, and I understand why you don't like that, but I like it just because it's I see it as just it's entertainment, you know, it's fun entertainment, and it's something new, and you know, in 10 years, like influencer boxing isn't going to be a thing probably, you know, like this thing is going to last for a couple more years, but like it's going to end at some point, or it's going to teeter out, and then it will go back to being what it was.
Yeah. Can't wait for that to happen.
Well, I mean, yeah, and the thing is, you kind of are an influencer in a way.
I know. I hate myself.
I know. you make music. You have a YouTube channel. You had another YouTube channel, which is now gone, and you're on here.
Thank
so
God.
you technically are you're a micro influencer. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, that makes me feel a little better. I look myself in the mirror. I'm like, God damn, pathetic micro influencer. It depends. It depends what the influencer influences. Yeah. I don't even know if that's a word.
TC said that wait, you make songs and then I should talk more in the server.
No, I don't make songs. He's lying. I know what you're talking about.
Nah, he makes songs. I'll play it right now.
Nah. Let
me find it.
DC, you're racist. Hey, yo, but check it out.
Send me one of your songs.
I think. What's up, TC? Send me one of your songs. Ah, god damn it, bro. I'll do it later.
Here it is, Purple Hoodie.
Fuck me.
Oh yeah, it's a jam up in 2 now. So as you can see, guys, that was a jam. he's saying LMFL.
It was just me repeating a 4-phrase sentence over and over.
Purple Hoodie.
I was never done with it.
It's actually not a bad song.
I'm gonna use it as my ring walk example. Hi, JJ. I gotta go take my sister to use the restroom.
Got 3 people watching and 3 likes, guys. That's 4th of July. Happy 4th. And I always seem to have medical issues, guys. My eyes just messed up. I don't know what's going on with it. It's watering. It hurts. I hope I don't have a sty. You know, because that would be the worst. And I try not to think about it, which tends to work. And I really hope I don't have that because I can't do that. I can't. It's hurt so much. What happened 2 years ago just was not at all. I had a gummy on my eye. It was terrible. It was so painful. I couldn't do it.
Okay. I just came here to say I gotta go. So
okay. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. Make sure to subscribe to Monkey Gang Purple Hoodie song out now. Let's get it showing in the iTunes store. Thank you, Angel, and I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Well, guys, I think this is we're gonna end it because my computer is almost dead. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you guys so much for attending this live stream. Great chat, great views, great likes. We listened to some songs, we did some musings, we did some cusings, we did some cussing. Well, I didn't cuss, but Angel did. And please, I mean, you don't have to be religious, but just pray that my eye is okay. Just make sure. Just please pray that my eye's okay, because I want to wake up tomorrow and to be all right. So yeah, I'm rambling now. So bye, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.